Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm WillStalker25, and today I got a new set of action figure reviews for you guys. This is the Jazwares Pokémon Select Trainer Team Target Exclusive 2-pack. I got this probably back in January to February, early March, somewhere in that. This is May 21st as I'm recording the video. When you're seeing this is probably sometime in June. So it's been a while. I've had these guys for a couple months now, and pretty great. This did retail for $35. It was Target exclusive. It is now since sold out on Target's website from what I could tell, and at least in my location I don't think they have any more of these in store. So yeah, great 2-pack if you didn't have the Charizard. If you already had the Charizard and didn't want to double dip on a second Charizard, because this is, I believe, the exact same 100% same figure, maybe slight differences on the paint application. It does feel like the wings are a little bit more of a, they like have more of a matte like texture to them, where they have, they're a little bit more matte finish, it looks like. But other than that, same figure on Charizard. Garchomp is great. But for the price point of $35, pretty great if you didn't have either. Or if you wanted a second Charizard, great, because normally for like 2 figures, this should be $40, you know? So you're a little under $40, so $20, $15 essentially. We will take a look at Charizard briefly in a minute, but we're going to start with Garchomp. So Garchomp, articulation-wise, mouth closes, opens. I wish it could close more, but that's as far as it gets. The head could look up that far for the head neck joint, down that much. If the mouth is closed, doesn't really add any extra. No rotation there. The neck gets a little bit of rotation, side to side, back, forward. So you could get overall the head looking down that much, or you could get the head looking up that much for like a flight pose. So pretty great, pretty good. It could be a little bit better, but honestly, that's not bad. Wish there's a little bit of head tilt up in there. The arms are where he's very limited because the shoulder cut is right here and they put the shoulder joint here, so like the arm only comes out that much, and then it's limited by the spike, and then you have the loose joint for mine, at least here. So the fins, you know, it's, and because it's got the red, you want to keep that here, so you don't want to really turn it out that far, so it's kind of weird. The arms are like very limited on what they can and can't do. You can do a full 360 here with that joint if you want to. So inwards, you could bring them that far inward, that far out. The arm itself has a swivel here, so you could do a full 360, and then you do have a hinge, so you could bring it in that much and then back about that much. So yeah, if you wanted to get like Garchomp in like a slashing pose, that's your slashing pose. Like, that kind of sucks. I think Garchomp is very, the problem with Garchomp is you want more of the arm movement. So the fact that they didn't do like a higher like hinge shoulder joint here and let this whole bit rotate, like I think this should have like had a rotation here and a cut, so then they could have, I don't know, something else to like bring the arm up higher, because you can't, if you bring the arm up, the arm starts going out, and there's nothing you could do to fix that. So you can't do like, you know, a raised pose to like be like he's doing like a dragon claw or something. You know, your posing's very limited. The ab crunch gets that far back and that far down, so not as much as I would like. I would like Garchomp to be able to hunch over a bit more, maybe go a tiny bit back. A little bit disappointing. The legs go this far forward. Let's get the arm out of there. So that far forward, that far back, pretty great. You do have a little bit of a in out there. You got a knee joint which goes, does a full 360, goes no more forward, so that's as far forward it goes, and then you could bring it back that much, so about a 90 degree. You do have an ankle that doesn't go back at all, and it goes forward that far. And then you got a little bit of a swivel, no real rocker on the ankle, unfortunately. And then the toe joint goes up that much and then down flat. So there you go. That's Garchomp. That's all he does. A little bit limited, like I said, in the arm department. You can't get him where I would like to for like slashing poses. I wish he'd had a little bit better of movement there. The feet are a little, like, with this figure, he's a little loose everywhere, unfortunately. So it's kind of a bummer. Oh, and then you do have the tail. The tail, I forgot. The tail, like, rotates here. Like, it has a slight rotation, but nothing. This doesn't rotate at all. And then he's got a side to side. Just a hinge there. So, very, very limited on Garchomp. Honestly, I'm very disappointed with, like, the range of motion that Garchomp gets into. I would have liked a bit more. It's kind of almost in line with, like, Tyranitar, where I expected... Like, Tyranitar, I didn't expect a lot. Garchomp, I expected more from, for sure, because Garchomp is definitely a more agile, moving Pokemon that you would want to get into more dynamic poses. And because I messed with that ankle now, he is not going to stand. Alright, there we go. Got him. Alright, so yeah, Garchomp, disappointing. Articulation wise. Sculpt wise is phenomenal. Paint wise is pretty good. You got the, like, star on his head pretty well. The sculpting is nice. The fin is nice. I think, is there a gender variation on Garchomp? I can't remember, but I feel like there is. It's something to do with the fin, maybe. So I have to look at that. So yeah, sculpt is good. Paint is good. Articulation, mediocre to, like, kind of slightly below average. Not the best for that. Charizard, though. So here's a look at the original Charizard. So let me move Garchomp out of the way for a second. So here's the original Charizard. A little dusty, been on the shelf for a couple months. There's the new Charizard. They're the exact same. The only difference, like I said, is you have a different feel on the inside of the wings. This feels newer. The tails are the exact same. Everything's the same. I think even height-wise, yeah, he's the exact same. The only difference is this one has, like, a weird bit coming off the nose because they didn't, like, get the crease right. So, same Charizards. Articulation-wise, if you haven't seen the review already, I have done a full review of it. So we're going to very briefly go over it. Charizard could get the head and neck that far down. The mouth does open and close. The wings get that far back, that far forward. You could also, like, enclose that completely. Don't know why he'd ever have the wings like this. But yeah, so you could do that. The arms up that far. They could do a full 360. Got a random little bicep cut there, which is nice. Let's see. We're messed up on the joint. There we go. You got double jointed elbows. Close that much. Wrist do swivel. No hinge, unfortunately. No, like, claw articulation. I think it would have been cool to give him the Flygon hand, because Flygon actually has like, claw articulation. So maybe they could have updated Charizard with Flygon's hand. The hip, the leg goes forward and back. Small knee, little bit of a rotation here. He is pinned. He's not, like, pinless or anything like that. I don't know if they actually do pinless for these guys. So yeah, leg gets that far back. Tail gets, if you're trying to do it that far, you know, you can bring it up that much. So not horrible, but nothing fancy. Yeah, so very basic on Charizard. Nothing crazy. He's, you know, same figure we've all seen before. He's not, like, new. But yeah. Height-wise, you could see Garchomp is a lot taller. Garchomp is about 6.5 inches tall. Charizard is about 5.25 inches tall. So, size comparison time. We have the Hasbro lines first. We got the Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, you know, your Power Ranger Lightning Collection, and Star Wars The Black Series. So there's all those, height-wise. Pretty good. You have a lot of trainer options if you're doing like an adult trainer, and you want to use any of those bodies. Not bad. And you could always, like, you know, if you have any of those figures, or, you know, that's the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man mold. So if you have any of those lying around, you know, you could always kind of scale them out to see if you don't have this exact figure, since some of those are newer, some of those are older, harder to find. Luckily, Captain Rex, I believe, is getting a re-release, so if you're a Black Series collector, look out for that. Alright, so we have Figma Samus, Mafex, Nightwing, SH Figuarts Goku, and Mezco Stealth Iron Man. So there's your size comparisons there. And honestly, I'm not going to bother, I don't think, with the Mythic Legion or the McFarlane here, because I don't think we really, well, we'll leave out the McFarlane this time. Here's Mythic Legion, because maybe you want a knight to fight some dragons. You know, Charizard dragon. But I know he's not. It's just a joke. There's your other Master Chiefs, your Jazware, and your 1000 toys. So yeah, there we go. There's a look at all those. Also, one thing I didn't note yet, these figures do also come with the 2 flight stands. I don't think this is the right one. I think this is Raiko's flight stand. This is, I believe, Charizard's or Garchomp's. I think Charizard and Garchomp were the exact same, or Garchomp was maybe 1 segment less. So like, here's your 1 segment one for like the land-based guys. Here's your 3 segment for your flyers. I can't remember which one Garchomp had. If they don't need it and they could stand on their own, I usually just put the like flight stands in like a bin, or sometimes they just get scattered and lost. So I honestly couldn't even tell you where their stands are, if I'm being honest. So I do apologize if you wanted to know exactly which ones these guys came with. But yeah. Alright, now let's do your Pokemon size comparisons. So for your Pokemon trainer, we have your Figma Gloria. There you go. We got a battle figure from Jazwares of Pikachu. Another slightly bigger battle figure of Psyduck. Jolteon. Another Pokemon Select. This is your Pokemon Select of Tyranitar. So there's your size comparison there with Garchomp. Garchomp's a bit taller. Another battle figure of Beldum. And then an epic battle figure. This is like your $20, really little, if any, articulation. They usually have some. But there's Venusaur. So there you go. There's a look at the starters. Venusaur's pretty huge. I think he should be a bit taller personally. So I would love to see him get redone in the Select line at some point, but they'll probably never do that. We got your Pokemon Select Suicune. Another dragon, you know, to mix with your non-dragon and actual dragon. We have Flygon on a flight stand. So Flygon scales up pretty nicely next to these guys. You could check that out in the Flygon review that I did if you're curious to see exactly how he looks when he's off the flight stand next to those other Pokemon. We have a Bandai Model Kit Gengar, very tiny little guy, you know. He's just a little guy. He's just hanging out, having a good time. Wish he was bigger. Wish we could get a proper Gengar. Gengar's another one, though, that would be so hard to do in the Select line because, like, his articulation is so limited. Like, he's just a big ball of plastic, so I would imagine he'd be, you know, the arms would be very limited, and that'd be it. Like, slightly movable legs. Here we got Mewtwo. Mewtwo is on a flight stand, so his height is slightly altered. Should be a tiny bit smaller compared to like these two, just because of, you know, minus the flight stand. And here is another epic battle figure. This is Metagross. I have reviewed the video, or I have reviewed him already, but I don't know if the video is out already. So if you have and want to check it out, Metagross is out on the channel, or he's coming out. So if you want to, you know, come back and take a look, depending on when these release. Yeah, but Metagross is pretty cool. Pretty great figure. And then lastly, since I don't really bring them out in any of these, you know, size comparisons, and we got to review them, so might as well start talking about them. Here's Raikou, or Raikou, depending on how you say the name. I always used to say Raikou, but it's actually Raikou, I believe. So, yeah, pretty great too. Got a review coming for him, you know, down the line, probably after Mewtwo. So, and then we'll have the, you know, look at all of them. So, all right, what you get with this pack for $35 is Charizard, which is basically 15 bucks. You got Garchomp for basically $20, and then their respective flight stands as well. So for $35, this pack was pretty great. Unfortunately, if you already own the Charizard and you just wanted the Garchomp, kind of biting the bullet there. Either you pass or you get it if you did. Nowadays, I don't know what the price of this is because, like I said, was a Target exclusive and is sold out. So, a little bit of a bummer. But I think if you could get it and you didn't have it, or if you're just a fan of the Pokemon figures and you want a second Charizard, maybe you paint this one up as a shiny, maybe you sell it, give it to a friend, something like that. I don't know. But it was a great deal for it. And hopefully they release the Garchomp on a standalone. If they do, I'm not going to buy the standalone because I don't see any changes, because obviously Charizard did not get any changes. So I'm happy with this Garchomp, and I don't need the standalone one now. So with that all being said, if the standalone ever does happen and you didn't get the 2-pack, you obviously can see with Garchomp, great sculpt. He will have a very nice shelf presence, but you're not going to get very many dynamic poses out of this guy. So you're going to have to be very creative if you're like a poser or a figure photographer or something like that, because you're going to be very limited with him. But good figure overall. Charizard is still fantastic. Still love him. But yeah, 35 bucks, not bad. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. Hopefully you found it helpful by any means. Let me know in the comments below. Did you guys pick up this 2-pack, or did you pass on it and hope for a standalone release of Garchomp? But with that all being said, if you are new here and haven't done so already, would always appreciate a like on the video and a subscribe to the channel. Does help me out a lot. Do greatly appreciate it. And I'm trying to get back on a actual schedule. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.